Okay, let's jump to sales. So we talked a little bit about on the marketing side, and usually what we see, and I actually think that this is changing these days, is that organizations from a we should get our systems integrated and our data connected start on the marketing side, and once they sort of get more into the sales function, we start to see a lot of these different pieces. So Ryan, if you want to kick us off with this particular use case.
Yeah, absolutely. So from a reporting perspective, as we mentioned earlier, within the HubSpot or CRM arena, a lot of times you have sales and marketing folks in there. You don't necessarily want them in your ERP. Your ERP, again, is more for the back office, right? Finance, accounting, and inventory and whatnot. So having the data to be able to sync between both systems is extremely important because finance and accounting might actually want to report on revenue recognition, while sales is more about realized revenue, right? The salespeople want to see what are our commissions, when am I going to get paid out? To be able to actually understand what the realized revenue is in the reporting within the CRM is so important. It's a good indicator for the salesperson to see, how they're performing and how much more they need to push to meet their goals. So again, this is a very, very important report here that you would want to push back into your CRM backed by the ERP data.
One of the things that we find, especially in organizations that are early in kind of building out their RevOps infrastructure, is that the numbers that they're reporting on from the sales side and from the finance side are different. And then they're spending a lot of time trying to reconcile and figure out what's right. This really gets you that single source of truth, giving you actual what's been realized and what's been sold and sort of merging those together. Helps with things like clawbacks, helps with sort of all of those different sales operations functions that you start to run into when you sort of have more and more scale and infrastructure. Okay, inventory and pricing data. This is something that we see all of the time. The most common industry that we run into this is kind of on the manufacturing side, with the primary reason just being number of SKUs and the volume of things that they're working with. But where we also see this is in organizations that maybe have prices that change really frequently because they have different inputs, they have different vendors, they have different suppliers, or they have inventory that's moving and changing. And what we often see when organizations is they both have a sales function that's actively in market and selling things direct, but then they may have a different mechanism by which people can purchase and buy things. And so the CRM is the source of truth for inventory. And HubSpot doesn't really have an amazing way out of the box to track and manage a lot of that inventory function. And so all of that data is going to be on the ERP side. Being able to sync that back in and being able to report on it, segment by it, be able to have that in front of your sales team means you're selling things to people that you actually have in stock. You're selling things at the right price for each one of the things that you're actually packaging and putting into deals, versus slinging out, new things and finding out the pricing has actually changed because we have different vendor inputs or something has changed on the ERP side. So really, really powerful use case to unlock your sales team, improve your data consistency, and really make sure everyone's operating off the right information. And this one I know is basic, but I think it's a good one. And we touched on it a little bit at the top end, but I think that this is one of the most powerful ones and for out of the box integration is pretty good. But Ryan, I'll let you speak to this particular piece.
Yeah, absolutely. So, in this example here within the CRM itself, you have a closed won deal. And having an integration that automates that transaction in the ERP is so important because of the operational aspects of it, right? The salesperson wants to get paid as soon as possible for closing that deal. It's exciting for them. But the fulfillment and the shipping teams and the inventory teams also want to know, how many orders have been placed recently, because that really impacts them on the purchasing side. Do they need to replenish inventory? Do they need to get those items out? Do they need to make sure the warehouse is stocked properly? So it's very, very important to be able to get these closed won deals into the ERP as soon as possible with the minimal delay.